Jeff and I were 24 years old when we met at an open mic night. He was playing harmonica. I thought he was cute, so in a leap of faith, I gave him my number.
The next week, I won tickets to a music festival, and I invited Heather to join me. We really hit it off, connecting through our active outdoor lifestyles.
From the time of our first date, I was open and honest with Jeff about my experiences with bipolar disorder. I had been diagnosed almost 2 years prior, and now, a month shy of my college graduation, I was stabilized through proper treatment and medications to manage my disease. Jeff and I had an exciting first 2 years together, hiking, camping, skiing, and meeting new friends. We enjoyed one another and the life we were creating together. A long period of remission led my doctor to recommend that I discontinue my medication. Jeff and I relocated to the Adirondack Mountains soon thereafter, and I did not seek a new treatment provider. About a year later, I experienced a severe psychotic episode. While I only recall bits and pieces of my psychotic state, I know that my energy level was extreme and my thoughts were grandiose. I recall feeling as though I could not sit still, I could not be still. Jeff received a call from my employer regarding my erratic behaviors.
In hindsight, there were signs of manic behavior leading up to that first night I brought Heather to the emergency room for help. Although Heather told me some of the behaviors that she exhibited during her previous manic states, it did not prepare me for the feelings of helplessness I experienced when I witnessed it firsthand. I wanted to advocate for this person I cared for, but had no idea what I was supposed to do. The busy ER staff gave me little guidance, telling me only to keep her contained in a small intake room until someone was able to see us. I did my best to follow their instructions. However, trying to keep her confined in that small space for over an hour, she became more agitated. She saw me as the reason she couldn't leave. She began to assault me in a violent rage. Only then did we attract the immediate assistance of hospital personnel who rushed in to restrain her and administer a strong sedative. She was quickly taken away to an inpatient room, and I was told nothing. Despite our long-term relationship, I could not accompany her to the inpatient room or even learn more about what was happening. I did not hear from Heather again until her condition improved enough for her to gain phone privileges from the inpatient unit. This traumatic experience taught me to recognize subtle changes in Heather's behavior and prompted us to work together to make a plan of action in case of future episodes. Heather signed a release for me to speak to medical personnel, allowing for a free communication so that I could play a more active role in her treatment and recovery.
I resumed treatment, and a year later, Jeff proposed to me on top of Skylight Mountain. After our marriage, we were excited to start a family of our own. We were proactive and honest about my bipolar diagnosis with my prenatal care providers, and it was decided that I would not take my psychotropic medications during pregnancy. I was well until the delivery of our beautiful and healthy daughter, but by the time that my hospital discharge date approached, it was clear to both of us that I was distraught and struggling. Despite my mental health history, my postpartum discharge plan did not include a scheduled appointment with my psychiatrist or any other mental health provider. Soon after returning home with our new baby, I was once again in a psychotic state.
I quickly realized Heather's situation was out of control. On the way to the hospital, I explained to Heather what we were doing, and she tearfully agreed, but then would just as quickly forget and thought we were on a vacation trip, so I would have to explain it all over again. I felt more confident this time around, as I was armed with two important tools: a medical release to speak with all of Heather's providers, and the knowledge that sometimes to be a good advocate, you have to be a persistent pain in the ass. When we got to the hospital, we were once again asked to wait in a small admitting room. This time I made no attempt to keep her in that room and instead allowed her to wander the ER in her psychotic state, following her to ensure her safety. The medical staff asked me more than once if I believed Heather would harm our new baby, and I repeatedly told them that Heather was often not even aware that she had just delivered a baby. When they told me they did not believe that Heather met the standard for admission and that I should take her home, I refused, and soon she was evaluated by another ER doctor and was immediately admitted, just as her psychiatrist had recommended. I felt good that I was able to advocate for my wife when she was unable to advocate for herself. After 3 weeks in a psychiatric unit and many months getting Heather the help that she needed, we were able to get our lives back on track. I know that Heather's behaviors, while in a psychotic state, are not Heather. They are only symptoms of an illness that requires treatment and understanding.
I believe our marriage is successful despite the challenges of my disease for the same reason that any relationship is successful. Jeff and I continue to learn to take care of ourselves and to take care of each other. We know my symptoms. We know that I need to stay in treatment. We know that we have the right to tell providers what is or what is not working for us. It is not always easy or comfortable, but we have learned to do the work, to be aware, and to find our best support system. My past includes times that I have been very sick, but I'm living proof that people diagnosed with significant psychiatric disorders can be well, and in fact, they can thrive. Jeff and I have climbed many mountains together, both literally and figuratively. We know for sure that the journey is always worth it. Thank you.
Thank you.